Addis had always believed that life was meant to be more than the dusty paths and quiet evenings of her village. She was 21, young and restless, with dreams that stretched far beyond the red earth roads of Umidike. Every morning she watched buses roll past the junction that led to the highway, their engines coughing smoke as they carried people towards cities she had only heard about. To Addis, Lagos sounded like an opportunity. A place where the streets never slept, where money moved quickly, where a person could become anything. Her mother did not share the same excitement. Life is not easy in Lagos, Mama would say while pounding cassava in the mortar. You think it is good everywhere. Many people go there and disappear. But Addis' mind had already traveled. Her auntie, Auntie Ngozi, lived in Lagos. She sold fabrics in Balogun Market and had once visited the village wearing beautiful lace wrappers and shiny sandals that made all the women stare. Addis had remembered how confident her auntie looked, how her phone rang constantly, how she spoke about Lagos like it was a kingdom of endless chances. So one evening, when the sky glowed orange and the crickets had begun their music, Addis sat beside her mother. "Mama," she said quietly, "I want to go to Lagos." Her mother's hands stopped moving. For what? To help Auntie Ngozi. And to find work. I cannot stay here forever. Her mother studied her for a long time. Addis could see the worry behind her tired eyes. "You are still my little girl." "I am 21. Mama sighed. "The world is not kind to young girls." Addis held her hand. "I will be careful." For days the house was filled with discussion. Her younger siblings listened eagerly, imagining Lagos as a magical city filled with bright lights. Finally, her mother agreed, but not happily. She prepared a small bag of Addis' clothes and wrapped dried food for the journey. On the morning of departure, Mama prayed over her for a long time, tears running silently down her cheeks. "Wherever you go," she whispered, "remember where you came from." Addis promised she would. She believed her life was about to begin. The first time Addis saw Lagos, she felt overwhelmed. Cars flooded the roads like restless rivers. Buildings climbed toward the sky. People rushed everywhere, speaking loudly, arguing, laughing, selling. It was louder than anything she had imagined. Auntie Ngozi's apartment was small but lively, located in a crowded part of the city. Addis slept on a mattress beside her cousin's bed and helped at the fabric stall in the market. Life was not as glamorous as she had pictured. The market was exhausting. From morning until evening she stood calling customers, folding fabrics, sweating beneath the heavy Lagos heat, but Addis did not complain. At night she would sit outside the shop and watch the city lights flicker to life, telling herself that she would soon find something better. That was when she met Anebo. Anebo was stylish and confident. She had perfectly braided hair, beautiful clothes, and an easy smile that made people trust her instantly. She came to the store one afternoon with two other girls, Sandra and Olia. They chatted with Addis as if they had known her for years. "You are new in Lagos?" Anebo asked. "Yes," Addis replied shyly. "You are very pretty. You should not be standing in the sun all day selling fabrics." Sandra laughed. "She is right. There are better opportunities in Lagos." Addis listened carefully. They began visiting the store often. Sometimes they bought small things, sometimes they just talked. Anebo spoke about jobs in big restaurants, hotels, and offices. "You only need connections," she said. Addis felt hopeful. One evening, Anebo arrived with exciting news. "My uncle knows someone who is hiring receptionists in a big hotel," she said. "Good salary. Free accommodation." Addis' heart raced. "Really?" "Yes. But they want to interview you tonight." "Tonight?" Sandra nodded. "The manager is traveling tomorrow morning." Addis hesitated. It felt sudden, but opportunities rarely waited. She told Auntie Ngozi she was meeting friends about a job interview. Her auntie wished her luck. Addis followed the girls into the night. She had no idea she was walking into a nightmare. The car that picked them up was dark and silent. Two men sat in front. Addis began to feel uneasy as they drove farther away from the bright part of Lagos. "Where is the hotel?" she asked quietly. "Not far, Annabel replied, but the road grew emptier, the street lights became fewer, then suddenly the car stopped. Before Addis could ask another question, someone grabbed her from behind. She tried screaming but a cloth pressed over her mouth, her vision blurred. The last thing she saw was Annabel avoiding her eyes. When Addis woke, everything was different. She was inside a small room with iron bars on the window. There were other girls there too. Some cried quietly, others sat silently with empty eyes. A tall woman entered the room. "You will all behave yourself," she said coldly. "Your lives now belong to us." Addis did not understand. But she soon would. She had been trafficked, days turned into weeks and weeks into months, slowly, months turned into years. Addis was moved from one place to another, sold and resold like an object. Raped, beaten, overworked. Each time she hoped someone would rescue her, each time hope faded, she saw terrible things. She met girls who had lost their families, their dreams, their strength. Sometimes she prayed, sometimes she cried, sometimes she screamed out in anger and got beaten for it. Eventually, her body grew weak. She discovered she was pregnant. The news broke something inside her, but even that fragile life did not survive. After months of suffering, she lost the pregnancy. Addis felt as if her soul had been buried. She stopped dreaming, stopped hoping. She became quiet and distant, like someone whose spirit had traveled far away. One day the man who controlled the house called her. "You are going somewhere else," he said. Addis expected another buyer, another nightmare. Instead, she was taken to a calm neighborhood in Lagos and brought before an older woman. The woman looked at her with sadness. "What is your name?" she asked gently. "Addis." The woman inhaled sharply. "Addis. From Umidike." Addis looked up in shock. "Yes." The woman closed her eyes for a moment. "My name is Mrs. Williams." Addis' heart dropped when she heard the next words. "I am Annabel's mother." Mrs. Williams dismissed the man who had brought Addis. "I will take her," she said firmly. When they were alone, she sat Addis down and poured her a glass of water. "My daughter told me about you before everything happened," she said softly. Addis' chest tightened. Mrs. Williams looked heartbroken. "When I discovered what my daughter and her friends were involved in, it was already too late." Tears filled her eyes. "I tried to find you." Addis did not know what to say. Mrs. Williams took a deep breath. "There is something else you should know." Her voice trembled. "Annabel, Sandra, and Olia. They all died." Addis blinked in shock. "They fell mysteriously ill last year," the woman continued. "The doctors never understood it." Silence filled the room. Addis felt many emotions at once: pain, anger, confusion. Mrs. Williams bowed her head. "I am deeply sorry for what my daughter did to you. I cannot imagine the level of pain you went through, emotionally and physically. I've blamed myself for years for not teaching my daughter right, and I've also not healed from the guilt of what she did to you." The apology hung heavy in the air. For a long time Addis said nothing. Finally she spoke. "I forgive you." Mrs. Williams looked at her in disbelief. "You do?" Addis nodded slowly. "Carrying hatred will only destroy me too." Tears rolled down the older woman's cheeks. From that moment, Addis' life began to change. Mrs. Williams gave Addis a place to stay, a real room, a soft bed. For the first time in years, Addis slept without fear. But healing took time. Sometimes nightmares woke her at night, sometimes memories returned suddenly. Mrs. Williams was patient. She encouraged Addis to find something she loved doing. One afternoon, while cleaning the house, Addis found a box of old pencils and sketchbooks. She began to draw absent-mindedly. Mrs. Williams watched quietly. "You are talented," she said. Addis shrugged. "I used to draw as a child." Mrs. Williams smiled. "Then you must learn properly." Soon Addis was enrolled in a professional art course. At first she felt nervous sitting in a classroom again, but drawing gave her peace. Every line she sketched felt like reclaiming a small part of herself. Months turned into years. Her skills improved rapidly. She discovered a unique style of powerful images that told stories of pain, survival, and hope. Her teachers were impressed. "You have a rare voice," one instructor told her. Addis worked harder than anyone. Art became her healing. When Addis turned 27, Mrs. Williams helped her rent a small shop. It became her art studio. At first there were few customers. But her paintings were different from anything people had seen. One piece showed a broken chain turning into birds, another depicted a girl rising from dark waters toward sunlight. People felt the emotion behind the images. Soon word spread. A gallery owner visited her studio one time and, "Good morning, beautiful," he greeted softly. "Good morning," Addis responded. The young man stared at her in disbelief of how beautiful she was. "How may I help you?" Addis asked softly. "Can I see some paintings, please?" Addis showed him 3 paintings and he praised her for her uniqueness. He also purchased the 3 paintings once. The money she received felt unbelievable. "Can I have your number?" the young man asked. "I'd love to purchase more." Within months, her art was selling quickly. Her studio grew popular. For the first time in her life, Addis felt powerful. She had survived. She had rebuilt herself. But as her success grew, another thought began to trouble her. She was now 28, still unmarried, and she had been away from home for years. What would people in the village say? One morning Addis packed a bag. She told Mrs. Williams she needed to go home. The older woman hugged her tightly. "You deserve peace," she said. The journey back to Umidike felt surreal. The roads were familiar. The air smelled like childhood. When the bus finally stopped at the village junction, Addis' heart pounded loudly. She walked slowly toward her mother's house. Children ran past her laughing. Dogs barked. Women carried baskets of vegetables. Everything looked the same. But she felt completely different. When she reached the compound, her younger brother saw her first. His eyes widened. "Addis." The house exploded with excitement. Her siblings ran toward her shouting. Her mother stepped outside slowly, disbelief covering her face. For a moment they simply stared at each other. Then Addis dropped her bag. She ran forward and fell to her knees. "Mama," she cried. "Forgive me." Tears streamed down her face. "I left for so long. I went through terrible things." Her voice broke. "I am sorry." But her mother did something unexpected. She also fell to her knees, pulling Addis into a tight embrace. "My daughter," she sobbed. "Thank God you are alive." They held each other tightly while the rest of the family cried around them. Mama lifted her face to the sky. "Thank you, God," she whispered, "for bringing my child home." Addis finally understood something important. The journey had been long, the pain had been deep, but she survived, and she was finally home. The next morning, while Addis was still sleeping, her phone rang and woke her up. "Hello, yes, Miss Addis, we are calling from the YSA Group of Nigeria, a young skilled artist. We want you to come speak in our youth conference next week. We would be honored to have you." "Yes, sure, I will be there," Addis replied as tears filled her eyes. "All right, I'll send you the details now." The man on the phone answered. "Okay, thank you, Mama." "Mama!" Addis screamed as she ran out of the room, hugging her mother tightly and crying. "Thank you, Jesus," they cried in joy.